Bermuda. Since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to do this, like actually act on it. Pick a point on the map at random and just buy a ticket and just go there with no preparation, no nothing, just see what's out there. I'm committing to it right now. I don't know when and how, but one day I'm gonna do it. I don't even know what that is. I wanna go there. EdTalenti on the beat. What's up everyone, this is EdTalenti. How are you guys doing? Today we're talking about bad producer habits. These are things that I've been fighting with for years. Some of them I fixed, some of them I'm still working on it. And every single producer I ever talked to, whether they were professionals or they just started out, it doesn't matter. We've all been fighting with the same exact problems, with the same exact habits. I decided to make this video and talk about it because the first step to fixing a bad habit is realizing you have it and working on it. Let's get into the video with bad habit number 1, which is I won't publish my music until it's perfect. I put this one first on the list because this is the one that stops most people from like progressing to the next level. I was stopping myself from putting out music for the vast majority of my life until like 2 or 3 years ago, where I was like, F it, I'm just gonna put out what I have, I'll do the best that I can and I'll learn as I go. And that just changed my life. Like literally that changed my life. I wouldn't be where I am now, making a living doing music and all these things, being a full-time producer, without that mindset. It's so easy as a creative person to like really care about your stuff to the point where you're like, it's not perfect, it's not where I want it to be. And compare it to like other people that you look up to, like you look up to like these big producers, these big artists, and you're like, my stuff doesn't sound nearly as good as that. I'm not ready to put it out. My stuff is trash. The reason why I'm saying that that's a really bad habit is because the majority of the things that I've learned that took me where I am right now are things that I learned by putting music out, by doing things and putting them out publicly for people to see, for people to like criticize me sometimes, or just even if you get a bad comment, ultimately, who cares? You're putting stuff out and you're learning so many things about your music, around the music, about yourself and like where you want to take your art. You're learning so many things just by putting your music out there. So just do it. Just do it right now, literally right now. Actually finish this video first, then go do it. All right, bad habit number 2 is thinking that you need all the gear, everything that there is in order to get started with your music career. You look at other producers, people that are further ahead than you look at their studios, you look at their YouTube channels, you look at whatever it is that they do, and you see all this gear, like literally some people that have like $1 million studios.
Oh my God, gear heaven. Oh.
And you're in your room at your terrible desk with your little tiny computer and you're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna have that. Like, I just can't invest and I can't buy $1 million studio. I mean, if you're like super rich and you can afford it, then by all means, go ahead and do it. Buy $1 million studio, but I can't and most people can't. So if like most of us, you can't do that, don't worry about it. Start with what you have and do the best that you can with what you have. I just recently watched this Casey Neistat video and someone was asking him what's the best camera to use, and he gave such a great answer that I just thought I'd bring it over and just use it on here because it's such a perfect answer.
I have a simple rule for when it comes to hardware, and that is always use the very best camera you have at your disposal.
He was saying like when I'm in my studio, I have my crazy like super good camera. When I'm out there like running or walking, I use my phone because that's the best camera that I have access to at that moment. So music gear is exactly the same thing. Do the best with what you have around you at that moment. Don't pick up that bad habit like I did of looking at other people's studios, of looking at like Timbaland's studio and be like, I want to have a studio like his, because you know, you're not Timbaland yet. All right, here we go with bad habit number 3, which is delete your unfinished projects. This took me forever to learn, but it made such a huge difference. The approach that I started having to fixing these bad habits is kind of like reusing, like recycling the things that were good about that particular project. If I was working on that beat and making that beat in the first place, there must have been like something at the core that caught my attention and I was like, yeah, I should work on this one. I should spend some time on it. Sometimes it might just be the melody, sometimes it might be the drums, sometimes it's just like the overall like tempo and vibe of the beat that I kind of liked, even though I couldn't execute it properly. So I think it's a really good exercise to get out of that habit, to just kind of like take what's good and recycle it into something else. For example, let's say you have like 20 beats that you started and the melodies were all really good, but you couldn't quite execute the drums properly because you just weren't at that point yet and it's just, they sound weird. Take those melodies, finish them up, put them in a pack, and now you have a pack of melodies that if you're already a producer out there, you can sell. If you're not a producer out there, you can use them for yourself. You have melodies that you can reuse. You can use them for collabs, send them to other people and have them do the drums if you couldn't do it. It doesn't really matter what you do with them, but you created some value from something that would have gone in the trash otherwise. It took me so long to learn this one, and sometimes I still trash stuff, but I really try not to because there's always something good in pretty much every project. So yeah, try not to delete your projects. Here we go with step number Oh, this is actually really dope. My good friend Steven over at Cymatics just texted me right now that he has a gift card for you guys, $15 gift card off of anything that you want on their website. I'll put the gift card like right here and I'll put it in the description too. Yeah, on the Cymatics website, they have a lot of free packs, but they also have a lot of like inexpensive, like under around $15 packs. So if you use this gift card, you can basically get them for free. I don't know exactly how long this is gonna be available for, but he just texted it to me, so I'm sure it's gonna be available for a while. So right after this video, go click the link in the description, go use the gift card, and yeah, enjoy. Where were we? Oh, this is perfect. Bad habit number 4, disrupting your flow. This is a bad habit that I'm fighting with daily. I check my phone way too much. I check my emails. I just go on YouTube and look for a quick tutorial and end up spending a half hour on there. Every time you take like a break, or not so much a break, but more like you get distracted by something, whether it's a notification or whatever it is, an email, you get distracted for like 5 seconds and it takes like 10 minutes to get back into that zone that you were in. So you're making a beat, you get a text, you check it, you respond, you spend like 2 or 3 minutes interacting with the person, you go back to your project and you completely lost your focus. You completely lost track to where you were. You have to like kind of like reboot everything, and that takes time. So if you have your phone next to you like I used to do, and I stopped doing that for that exact reason, you're gonna constantly be getting texts, calls, emails, Instagram notifications, whatever it is, and you'll keep stopping your work. This will slow you down so much that like you literally will accomplish like 50% of what you would be able to accomplish, or even less. So what I started doing to fix this bad habit, I just take my phone when I walk into the studio, I put it on the other end of the room with the sound off, and I just completely ignore it while I'm making music. Unless I'm like expecting an important call or something, then sure, I'll keep track of it. But other than that, for daily stuff, for Instagram notifications, you don't need to check it every 5 minutes. You can check it in an hour, get that beat done, get that beat nice and finished. It'll be much better. That one's like a daily struggle for me. That's why I wanted to put it on the list. It's just so hard to not look at your phone. You just get that sort of like, at least I do, you get this sort of like anxiety. I need to look at my phone. I need to see what's going on. You don't. It's fine. All right, we got 2 more to go. Number 5 is avoiding music theory. I don't know if this is classified as a bad habit, but I think it is, because as music producers, we're not like classic musicians. Like, you know, you're not like picking up a guitar or drums or whatever it is. You can do everything without knowing music theory. You actually can. Like, there's people that make great music not having a clue about music theory. With that said though, I do believe that a little bit of music theory goes a long way, and it's actually really important. The way I see it, it's like music theory is the language that musicians speak. So if you're trying to communicate an idea to another person, if you work with other people at all, it's really important to know music theory. Like, otherwise you're not speaking the same language. The first example that comes to mind, and this is like a really like daily real example, when you send out a melody to someone for a collab, whether it's like a bigger producer or a smaller producer, to anybody, or when you receive it, when you're on the other end receiving it, it's really nice to have the key, to have the tempo next to it, and maybe like what kinds of scale. It's really nice to have some information about that melody so that the person that receives it doesn't have to spend an hour just figuring out what you did before they can do their part. Now, if you don't know how to find the key, you're stuck. You can't put the key. You don't know what that is. Another super quick example that just comes to my mind is when you're making melodies, especially counter melodies. If you know like this much theory is gonna make it so much faster and the result is gonna be better in a shorter amount of time. If you know what scale you're in, you know what a scale is, you know what like chords to use, you know what like type of notes to go hit to deliver certain like emotions. You know that if you hit that one note, it's gonna make the listener feel sad. You know that if you hit the other one, it's gonna make him feel like excited. If you don't know music theory, you can develop your ear and get good at it, but it's just gonna be a lot longer of a process. So trust me on this one, take my advice, learn a little bit of music theory. You don't have to become like an expert, just learn a little bit. Learn your scales, learn the difference between major and minor, learn a little bit of like rhythm theory, like rhythm subdivisions. Those 3 things are gonna go a super long way. Last one for today, bad habit number 6, and this is overproducing. I kept this one for last because it's kind of subjective. Like, what is overproducing? Something that could be like overproduced for me could be not produced enough for somebody else. It's such a personal like level to define something that's perfect for everybody. It doesn't even really make sense because it's your music. You do whatever you like. With that said though, the vast majority of producers make music for other purposes, whether it's for a rapper or an artist to go on top of it, whether it's for like a commercial use, like for a movie or for an actual commercial. It's music that has a further purpose than just being listened to. So if you put too many things in your beats and you're overproducing them, that's gonna hurt the final product. The rapper is not gonna know what to do with it because there's not enough space for them to like do their thing. If you throw it on a commercial, it's gonna kind of like overpower the vocals and the story of the commercial. No matter how you look at it, it's just gonna be in the way. From a music maker or producer perspective, it's actually really cool to have overproduction because you hear all these different layers and that gets you pumped, that gets you excited. You hear that new synth that came out on the chorus chorus, but it was only in the top end with the sidechain, and you're just like, wow, that was genius. And then the new snare or the new percussion that comes in on the verse, and then you just hear all these little details that just get you excited. But from the perspective of like a normal person that's listening to your music, someone that's not a producer, this is gonna be like a lot. This is gonna be a lot to take in. So yeah, overproduction is definitely a bad habit. Now, I'm not here to tell you what is overproduction, because that's totally a personal thing. You need to feel it out for yourself and decide where you want your music to be. You still want it to be at a point where you're happy with it. You don't want to like just leave it empty just for the sake of it, but just keep it in mind. With all that said, we all have bad habits. I have bad habits. Everybody has bad habits. Even like your idols have bad habits, and it's just a matter of like identifying them, trying to fix them, or at least like knowing that you have them, so you just pay attention to them. All right, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe button, notification bell. We just hit 30K. We just hit 30K. This is crazy. Thank you guys. Also, if you have a question you want to ask privately, you just want to say hi, whatever it is, Instagram is the best place to do it. Just shoot me a DM, and as soon as I can, I'll respond to you. All right, I guess this is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching the video all the way through. I'll see you next time, and as always, be positive, and positive things will happen.